He almost missed her. The bell above the door barely made a sound as she stepped inside, like she didn't want to be noticed. That alone wasn't unusual. Daniel Carter's small convenience store didn't attract attention. It survived on routine: morning coffee, late-night snacks, regulars who didn't ask questions. But something about her felt deliberate. She moved slowly, scanning the shelves without picking anything up. Her clothes were simple, almost too simple, like someone trying very hard not to stand out. Daniel noticed. He always noticed. That was how he kept the store alive, and how he kept his life under control. "Let me know if you need anything," he said from behind the counter. She looked up. For a second, just a second, her eyes sharpened in a way that didn't match the rest of her appearance. Then it was gone. "Thanks," she said quietly. Her voice didn't match either. Too steady, too measured. Daniel leaned back slightly, watching her move through the aisles. Something didn't add up. That was the first shift. 10 minutes passed. She finally picked up a bottle of water. Then a sandwich. Then hesitated at the register. I think I'm short," she said, glancing down at her wallet. Daniel didn't respond immediately, not because he didn't believe her, but because he had heard this line before, more times than he could count. Some people were genuine, most weren't. He studied her again. Her hands weren't shaking. Her eyes weren't pleading. She wasn't trying to sell a story. That was different. "How short?" he asked. "A few dollars," she said. No explanation. No excuse. Just the truth. That was the second shift. Daniel opened the register. "Don't worry about it," he said. "You can take it." She looked up, surprised. "Are you sure?" "Yes. I can come back and pay." "You don't have to." Silence stretched between them. Then, "Why?" she asked. The question caught him off guard. "Because it's not worth arguing over a sandwich," he said. "That's not what I meant." He held her gaze. "I have a daughter," he said simply. "I don't like saying no when someone actually needs help." Something changed in her expression. Subtle, but real. That was the third shift. The next day, she came back. Same time, same quiet entrance. This time, she didn't pretend to shop. She walked straight to the counter. "I owe you," she said, placing the exact amount on the surface. Daniel glanced at the money. Then at her. "You didn't have to come back. I said I would. You could have walked away." "I don't do that." That answer was too clean. Too certain. That was the fourth shift. Days turned into a pattern. She showed up, bought something small, left. No small talk, no personal details. But she watched. Always watched. Daniel noticed that too. "Most customers don't study the place like that," he said one afternoon. She didn't deny it. "I'm observant," she replied. "About what?" "People." He smiled faintly. "And what have you observed?" She hesitated. Then, "You don't treat anyone differently," she said. "That's kind of the job." "No," she replied. "That's a choice." That landed. That was the fifth shift. A week later, everything changed. It started with a man walking in. Loud, impatient, entitled. "I've been waiting for 10 minutes, he snapped, slamming his hand on the counter. Daniel looked up calmly. "I just saw you walk in." "That's not the point," the man shot back. "Do you even know who I am?" Daniel didn't answer. Because he didn't care. "Just ring this up," the man demanded, tossing items onto the counter. Daniel scanned them silently. Then the man glanced toward the woman. She stood in the corner. Watching. "You," the man said suddenly. "Why are you dressed like that?" The question came out sharp. Judging. Unnecessary. Daniel's posture shifted. "Sir," he said evenly, "let's keep this about your purchase." The man scoffed. "I'm just asking a question." "No," Daniel replied calmly. "You're not." That was the sixth shift. Because now, this wasn't just a transaction. It was a line, and Daniel had drawn it. The man paid and left, muttering under his breath. Silence returned. Then, "Most people wouldn't do that," she said. "Do what?" "Stand up like that." Daniel shrugged. "It's not complicated." "It is," she said quietly. "For most people." He studied her again. "You're not most people either," he said. She smiled faintly. "Neither are you." That was the seventh shift. The next morning, Daniel arrived at the store early. But something was off. The door was unlocked, lights already on. He stepped inside carefully, and froze. 3 people stood near the counter. Well-dressed, serious, out of place. "What's going on?" he asked. One of them turned. "Daniel Carter." "Yes, please come with us." That was the 8th twist. Because now, nothing made sense. They took him to a building downtown. Glass, steel, everything his life wasn't. Daniel sat across from a long table. Confused, guarded. Then the door opened, and she walked in. Not in simple clothes, not quiet, not unnoticed, but commanding, confident, completely different. That was the 9th twist. "You," Daniel said. She took a seat across from him. "Yes." Silence filled the room. "I don't understand," he said. "You weren't supposed to," she replied. "Who are you?" A pause. Then, "I'm the CEO." The words landed slowly. He stared at her, processing. "You own the company that owns the building your store is in," she finished. That was the 10th twist. "Why?" Daniel asked. "Why what? Why come to my store like that?" She folded her hands calmly. "Because I wanted to see something real." "Real?" "Yes," she said. "Not reports, not numbers, not curated experiences." Daniel leaned back slightly. "And what did you see?" She held his gaze. "I saw someone who didn't change his behavior based on who he thought I was." Silence. "I saw someone who helped without expecting anything in return." Another pause. "And I saw someone who protects people who don't have power." That hit harder than he expected. "That's not special," he said. "It is," she replied. "More than you think." That was the 11th twist. "So what now?" Daniel asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, "I'm shutting down underperforming locations," she said. His stomach dropped. "And," he asked carefully, "your store is on that list?" Everything went quiet. That was the 12th twist. Because now, this mattered, more than anything. Daniel nodded slowly. "I understand. You do." Yes. He didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't panic, because he had a daughter. And panic didn't help her. That was the 13th shift. "But I haven't made my final decision yet," she added. Daniel looked up. "And that depends on what?" he asked. "On whether numbers are the only thing that matter." Silence. Then, "What do you think?" she asked. Daniel met her eyes. "I think people come back to places where they feel respected," he said. "I think numbers follow that. And if they don't," she challenged, "then maybe the numbers aren't the only thing worth measuring." That was the final twist. Because now, it wasn't about the store. It wasn't about the test. It was about something bigger. She stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city. Then, "Your store stays," she said. Daniel exhaled slowly. "But not because of charity," she added. "Because of value." She turned back to him. "And I want you to run more than just that location." He frowned. "What?" "I want you to train others," she said. "Teach them what you do." Daniel shook his head slightly. "I just run a small store." "No," she said. "You understand people." That was the last shift. Because suddenly, everything he thought was small wasn't. Later that evening, Daniel returned home. Lily ran to the door. "Did something happen today?" she asked. He smiled. "Yeah," he said. "Something good." "What?" He thought about it. About her. About everything. Then, "Turns out," he said, "being kind when no one's watching matters more than we think." Lily smiled. "I already knew that." Daniel laughed softly. Of course she did. And for the first time in a long time, he felt like maybe everything was going to be okay. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and become part of Whispered Love. Because here, every story has a secret, and every silence hides a feeling. See you in the next story.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.